Hey y'all, this video is for Randy. So y'all turn it off, go somewhere else. This one's for Randy Blaukats. You're going to have to hang around and find out why, aren't you? He asked for it. Here it comes, Randy. This one's for you, bud. So it's a good time to do a video for Randy Blaukats because Randy asked me to do this video. Yes, he did. He probably didn't remember that. Y'all remember? He said a while back in his wonderful video praising me and Chris Johnson for doing what we love to do. He said he just loved to hear Dale Verts tell a story about a red man tournament he fished back in the day. Lot of stories right there. This one was not, well, it was special for several reasons. Well, I'm going to talk about that. And maybe catch a fish or two while I'm jabbing away. How's that sound? So, for y'all that aren't familiar, Red Man Tournament Trail, Operation Bass, was the premier working man circuit in the 80s and 90s. That was what they advertised themselves, the working man circuit. When I first started fishing, I believe it was a $75 entry fee. I don't remember when I stopped. It may have been twice that. I don't remember. They had divisions all around the country. And back in the 80s, to the early 90s, the toughest division of anything in the world, including BSS, was the Ozark division of Redman. The hottest sticks in the country fished that thing. A lot of Bassmasters Classic guys, and I'll do another story about that. I'll do a Gil Hibben story about that someday. The tournament I want to talk about was September of 1994, Smithville Lake. It was a gomer. Largemouth bass virus that summer decimated, I don't know, 60 to 70% of the adult bass population throughout the country, at least throughout the Mid-South, Midwest. I don't know how far it really went, but it was horrible how many bass died from that cool water virus. By the time we got to Smithville that September, it was the last tournament of the season, I was hurting. I'd actually had a decent year if you don't count the first two tournaments, which I did abysmal in. And they were Lake of the Ozarks and Grand Lake, two of my favorite places, and I absolutely scraunched them. But fishing got bad. By July, it was freaking horrible. I drew a check in a tournament with one keeper bass at Mark Twain Lake. I finished like third from last with one bass. That's how tough fishing was. Which of course helped me out considerable. So we get to Smithville Lake, which I like Smithville. I'd had a decent finish there early in the year. They fished Smithville twice that year. We get to Smithville, man. Let me get this fish in. Well, maybe not. I'll be back. So there's what happens when you try to talk and fish at the same time. My gosh. So we get to Smithville, and my problem was I was outside looking in to go to the Red Man Regional that year. I think I was 9 or 10 places out, close to 40th place. I had gained places ever since that second tournament at Lake of the Ozarks. But I didn't know what it'd take. It'd take exactly what I wanted. It'd take everybody else have a bad tournament, me have a decent tournament. So I'm wishing for a lot. Get to Smithville, and I practiced the weekend before and 2 days prior to the tournament. Now this is just for a one-day tournament, but I really need to do well. You know, I really had to do good. And sometimes that's what makes you fish the best. That's just all there is to it. The more it's on the line, the more you buckle down. And I buckled down. I practiced good. I fished good. Basically, one keeper a day. Every day I practiced. I think I had 2 one day. Okay? So think about how tough fishing is. Fishing 8, and back those days I practiced 8, 10-hour days was nothing. Just think about that. One keeper a day average. About that, just catching 1 or 2 keepers a day, is the word got out. I fished with a gentleman one day. His boat was having issues, and he was with me when I caught a 4-pounder, and the word got out that little fat boy was on him, and I really wasn't. Really wasn't. What I figured out was how shallow the fish really were. They were on flats with the shad, and they were very few and far between. I figured that out. I had 2 baits. Probably as limited selections I've had in a long time over the years anyway. A baby 1 minus and a Zara spook. Fishing generally, less than 2 foot of water. And it really wasn't a big solid thing, except that's the only way I was catching fish. Kind of like this. And they weren't hardly bigger than that mostly either, by the way. Mostly they were, yeah. That would have been a good one, probably. Guys, I talk all the time about Solar Bass sunglasses. I would not be out here without them. They save my day. They make for less headaches, less tension, less fatigue. They fit great. All those things. These are the RB3s in high contrast yellow. Today I got kind of a haze. They're helping me see my line. No doubt these are the finest sunglasses that are on the planet for really reasonable prices. Now, end of summer sale going on. Okay? Because it's getting ready to be the end of summer. Every $98 you spend with Solar Bat, you get a free pair of their superior safety glasses. Talk about awesome. Shooting glasses, safety glasses, work around the house glasses, cutting firewood glasses. Also, you get a free hard case every $98. So you get 2 bonuses. Plus, if you use my promo code DLV at checkout, you get free shipping. How do you beat that? Check it all out. Link in the description below this video thing you're watching. Folks, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Check out your Solar Bats. These things are freaking awesome. So I'm on a real limited bite, and I know I'm going to have to be real focused. Redman at that time, the Plains Division is what we were fishing by then, and it was still, wow, dadgummit. You know what, y'all? I'll be back when I get out all these fish. How's that? Sorry, Randy, you have to wait for this one, bud. Well, you won't. I'm going to wait. Time travel is very interesting when you got a YouTube camera going. Yeah, how's that? So how's this for sad? I'm going to sit down and finish this story because I'm catching fish and it's ruining my other video I'm trying to shoot. It's ruining this video. Fish are so rude, What a beautiful day. The word got out I was catching fish for stupid reasons. Now, I said I wasn't. But sometimes I'd had a good summer. After those first 2 tournaments, I was doing good and people were seeing that. I had some of the hottest rods we had in the Plains Division at that time come talk to me. Lou Treat, Flippin', Arkansas, Ranger Pro, one of the best fishermen in the Mid-South at that time. He said, I don't want to know what you're doing, but you are catching fish. Yes, I'm fishing flats in the backs of creeks. Thank you. I don't know how he did in the tournament, but I told him that. That's like giving a match to a guy holding dynamite. That was probably stupid, but I never believed in trying to be real quiet, clandestine. So come tournament day, I didn't know. I had caught fish in several places, but no concentration. Like I said, when you're catching basically 1 keeper a day. That morning, I started off on a pond dam. Now, this pond dam was not deep. The lake was flooded to the dam. Had maybe 6 inches of water on top of it, except the spillway had a couple feet. But there was fish in that pond. Now, you could throw all the way across the pond. It wasn't 15th of 20th of an acre. You could throw all the way across it. And pretty early, the sun's over my shoulder. Which, boy, there's a whole nother story right there, actually. Remind me someday about telling you about spook fishing with the sun over your shoulder. I launched a spook up in there and come working that thing back. And a keeper bass jumps all over it. Right off, like 10 casts in the morning. I stick the fish, crank him into that dam. He catches the dam, does a cartwheel, and throws my spook. Now, y'all, it's hard. Fishing's that tough. I need fish bad. And I could have spun me out, but I didn't let it. But I knew every fish was beyond critical. I figured 2 keepers would put me in a check. I think it probably did, actually. That wind ball, I'll have to reshoot this, I hope. I went 15, 20 foot. That's how big this pond dam was. Chunk that spook up in there. About 2 casts later, another keeper gets it. This time I cranked him over the spillway and got him. So 25 minutes in the tournament, I got my first keeper and feeling good. 2 hours later, I think I had one more dink on the spook. And many a tournament in my life, and to this day, I go 2 hours is nothing without a bite, speak ever, not a keeper. But I mean, if I could average keeper an hour, I could be a professional bass fisherman. Anybody, including Randy, will tell you that. If you could average a keeper an hour, 8 keepers a day, you would be a worldwide sensation. Better than James Watson. Well, probably not better. I went into my favorite creek. I don't even remember what it's called. It's not a big, well, there's not very big. Smithville Lake's not a big lake, 7,800 acres. I don't remember what that creek's called. If I was going to fish Smithville Lake tomorrow, I'd fish that creek first probably. Over the years, I caught a lot of fish in it. And I'm on the flat in 2 foot of water, scattered timber, scattered laydowns, and I'm chunking that baby 1 minus. And it was probably 11 o'clock. It loaded up. I hadn't caught another fish. I'd caught 2 bass all day. And by golly, I had a 3-pound bass. And, you know, that's scary. He's no water. He's jumping. My partner's really excited with the net. That could be the scariest thing in the whole tournament. He's excited. But I caught that fish. I glommed on that baby 1 minus and owned it. It wasn't getting away. And I was so great. Now I've got 2 with, 3 hours or so to go. My confidence jumped a bunch. And I don't think I remember ever being not confident. I knew I was going to get the bites. That's probably the biggest thing in my years of tournament fishing. Rarely did I not think I was going to get the bites. Is can you execute and put them in a boat? So I got 2 for maybe 5 pounds. I don't remember. It wasn't much, but I had 2. Now, if y'all are looking for a big hero story with a big old string of fish, it never happened to anybody in that tournament, especially me, or including me anyway. I caught my 3rd keeper about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, same creek, same kind of area on that baby 1 minus. All I did was changing colors, going back and forth. They just did not want anything but the baby. That was the way it was all summer. It was the coolest summer in years, cool spring. The fish got the largemouth bass fires mostly because of cool weather. And those fish were shallow, some shed, some brim, and just back and forth. And not even so much running into stuff. The fish really weren't on visible cover. They just were where they were at. That 3rd keeper, I think, gave me 7.5, 8 pounds. And that was it. That's what I weighed in. Redman tournaments were real personal tournaments. They knew, everybody knew each other. The tournament directors knew you. I remember one time we had a substitute director, the guy that did Oklahoma, the Okie division, cool as heck. I think that's the Indian guy. Y'all remember? He was super. He come in knowing our names. He studied us. We come across the weigh-in stage. He had studied the stats. Didn't have much to say about me, of course. I don't remember when I weighed in that tournament, but when I brought them 3 up, I think I was in first place for a while. You keep waiting for them guys to bring in 20 pounds. It did not happen. I finally finished 3rd place in that tournament. I had a couple seconds in Redman, several thirds, but that one was important. That was the toughest tournament mentally. The fishing was tough. It was, grind is not the word. It was miserable hard, and I came through with 3 keepers. And that's all you got, except for a couple free packs of Redman, which back in those days I partook thereof. Yeah, I did. I never did drugs, never drank, but I could choose from Redman, especially when they give it to you free. If you hung around late after the tournament, you get to take the whole case home with you. The stuff you remember. There sure wasn't much caught that day. I remember over half the field zeroed, maybe 2/3. First place wasn't that much more. That keeper I had would definitely put me in second. And I think I figured if it was a 2-pounder, it would have been within an ounce of winning. But I took the 3rd place. I took it because I knew I had done the best job I could do. Well, losing a keeper is losing. You're going to have to figure you're going to lose some fish. I was pretty tickled, but they wouldn't tell me. Now, this before the hype. Well, there was computers in '94, but this before the highfalutin stuff. It was like 2 weeks later before I got noticed. I think they called me and said, "You're in the Redman Regional in Kentucky Lake. Do you want to fish?" Oh, yeah, I want to fish. So that's my story for you, Randy. It's not really, you've got much better stories. Most people, and it's not my best tournament story. But it's what I remember because I had fortitude and confidence. And I was fishing really good in those years. I wish I would have took it a little bit further. But I'm still here, still kicking, still having fun. And Randy asked for a tournament video about Redman in the old days, and Randy Blaukat, hope you like this. Let me know. Appreciate you, buddy. God bless you guys. I really appreciate y'all watching. I'm going to go back and catch more of these little bass.